When I was growing up, I would only eat cereal dry, and even then it had to be like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Hey y'all, it's Lindsay, and today I'm gonna give the Can Do cereal from Trim Healthy Table a try. Okay, I don't know about y'all, but whenever I got this book in the mail back in September, I flipped through the entire thing and I saw the Can Do cereal here on page 347. The picture's on 348. And I'm not exactly a big cereal person to begin with, so I wasn't too terribly intrigued to give this a try. But in the spirit of trying new things and being brave and audacious, I am going to attempt this recipe. In the notes, they tell you to not be put off because of the length of the directions and to just go for it. And it's pretty simple according to them, and I'm sure it is simple. I don't think they would sit there and mislead us by any stretch of the imagination. I digress. So, I am going to get you turned around and let's give this recipe a try. I've just set my oven to preheat, and I've got this awesome stand that my mom and love gave me for Christmas. It's from the OXO brand, and it's a recipe book holder, but it like folds flat. Brilliant, brilliant thing. So I'm super pumped to be able to use that. And all right, let's start here with making the sponge. Okay, so here is my sponge ready to go into the oven. I've got it preheated to 350 right there. And I did not get 100% of my egg whites fully incorporated, but I was more concerned about losing my volume from my egg whites than I was with getting everything fully incorporated. And I hope that doesn't bite me in the rear. This is an 18-inch by 13-inch jelly roll pan. I've lined it with some parchment paper that is sprayed with some coconut oil spray. And we are going to get this into the oven and let this bake. My sponge is in the oven, and I'm going to make part 2, which is the slurry. So my slurry is made. My cinnamon isn't really incorporating very well, but you know, what are you gonna do? While my sponge cools, I'm going to let my slurry start to thicken with those chia seeds. This turned out really kind of interesting. I'm most impressed with it. It's lifting out nicely and easily, and once this cools a little bit longer, I'm going to take the next step of crumbling it into chunks. All right, time to crumble this up into small-ish chunks. They suggest somewhere between a crouton and a smaller crumble, so we shall see how this goes. Alrighty, so I've got my slurry coated sponge all made into the oven, and my oven is set to 170, and we're gonna let this dry out all night long basically, and hopefully in the morning it is ready to be eaten. Definitely crunchy. Would be interesting to see. So one thing I have done is I have gone through and tried to break up these pieces a little bit more. See, whenever you get finished drying them out in the oven overnight, they clump together from that slurry. So I've been just kind of breaking it apart to make it more the appropriate size. So I've got a 1 cup bowl here. It's from the holiday line for Pioneer Woman. Anyway, I find these really useful just for general portion control and whatnot. But so I've got, I'm gonna spill some milk. I've got probably 3/4 of a cup of the can-do cereal in here, and I would say about a 1/4 cup of unsweet, unflavored almond milk. So I'm not usually a cereal person in general, so this should be interesting. That's not bad. Yeah, it really does kind of like, I did the option A, which has got the extra poofing step, I guess. So it definitely has like more of a bready kind of a texture. I think I enjoy this. So I do have a few thoughts about this recipe. Number one, it takes a lot of time. It took my oven, a regular oven, 12 hours overnight on 170 degrees Fahrenheit to fully dry this cereal out, which isn't like the end of the world because I didn't need my oven last night. But there are a lot of evenings whenever I do want to do that. Number 2, they suggest in the recipe to pour a generous amount into a bowl and top it with your almond or cashew milk. And to me, generous amount means probably like 2 cups or more. And, you know, I only did my little 3/4 of a cup here in my bowl because I just wanted to taste it. I didn't want to like pour a huge bowl of it and decide if I didn't like it, you know. Anyway, so I think that might make 4 to 6 servings, and they say that this doesn't need to be done every week or anything like that. Do this monthly. So if I were to do this monthly and eat this twice a week, I would need at least 2 full batches of this cereal, which means that I would have my oven out of commission for 2 nights because the amount of material that you have, amount of cereal and sponge that you have, I needed to spread it out over 2 really large pans in order to fully dry it well. So maybe it's different with the option B, which is, you know, the thinner, more dense version. I did try option A first because it was the first one on the list. But I do think this is worth trying out if you've got a little bit of time and you are missing cereal. It tastes pretty good. And you can add in various options they suggest. You could sweeten up your almond milk. You could just do lots of different things with this. And I made it the fuel pool version, which means that if I wanted to have an orange with this, I could, or if I wanted to have an apple, or, you know, if I wanted to have an e-shake with this, I would try not to go overboard on the protein with this particular recipe, or with this as a part of a breakfast, just because the cereal counts as a lot of protein. So those are my thoughts on the can-do cereal. I think it's worth trying, and if you do give it a try, let me know in the comments. And if you would like more THM recipe reviews or just THM-ness all around, I really hope that you'll stick around and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Pretty good. It absorbs the milk really quickly, so it gets kind of soggy real quick. You know those bowls where it has the little compartment for milk and then the compartment for the cereal? I feel like something like that would be really useful for this cereal.